Many people think marriage is something they must secure before time runs out. They worry that if they wait too long, miss one opportunity, or make one wrong choice, they might lose it forever. This fear quietly controls their decisions and exhausts their hearts. But Islam teaches a truth that completely changes how you see marriage. It was never placed in your hands to control. It was placed in Allah's decree as part of your rizq. When you understand this, the pressure begins to lift. You stop blaming yourself for being late. You stop chasing what does not bring peace. You stop believing that your worth is measured by your relationship status. Instead, you realize that the same Allah who provides your sustenance, your safety, and your breath has already decided your companionship. This message is not about giving up effort. It is about releasing fear. Because when marriage is truly part of your rizq, it does not arrive through panic, desperation, or loss of dignity. It arrives through trust, preparation, and perfect timing. And once this truth settles in the heart, waiting no longer feels like punishment. It feels like protection. Your marriage was written before you ever asked for it. Before you ever raised your hands and asked Allah for marriage. Before the nights you felt alone. Before the days you wondered why it had not happened yet. Allah already knew. He already decided if marriage would be part of your life, who it would be with, and at what time it would arrive. This was not decided after your tears or because of your patience. It was written long before you were aware of the need yourself. Many people live with the quiet fear that if they do not act fast enough, plan carefully enough, or fix themselves perfectly, marriage might pass them by. This fear makes the heart restless and the mind heavy. But the truth is, marriage is not something that slips away because you missed the right moment. What Allah has written for you cannot miss you. It does not depend on perfect timing, clever choices, or constant effort driven by worry. This understanding brings relief to the heart. It teaches you that worrying does not speed things up, and fear does not protect what is already written. You could spend years overthinking, or you could spend those same years growing in peace, and the result would not change what Allah has decreed. When the time written for marriage arrives, it will come, not because you forced it, but because its moment has finally reached you. When this truth settles inside, the heart begins to rest. You stop blaming yourself for being late. You stop comparing your path to others. You stop believing that something is wrong with you. You realize that nothing you do in fear can add to your share, and nothing you failed to do in the past can take it away. What is written will arrive exactly when it is meant to, and until then, your life is not on pause. You are simply walking toward what Allah has already prepared for you. What Allah writes as rizq cannot be forced. When Allah writes something as rizq, it comes through His permission, not through pressure. This is where many hearts become tired. People try to force outcomes because they are afraid of waiting. They push conversations, chase commitment, hold on to uncertainty, or stay where they are not respected, all because they fear losing the chance. But rizq does not respond to desperation. What is written does not need to be chased, cornered, or emotionally pulled into place. You can force many things in life, but you cannot force blessing. A relationship that begins with pressure often continues with pressure. If you had to convince someone to see your value, you will spend your time convincing them to stay. If you had to rush clarity, you will live with confusion. When something is truly written for you, it moves toward you without you losing yourself along the way. Forcing often feels like effort, but it is actually fear in disguise. Fear of being alone. Fear of being replaced. Fear that if you let go, nothing else will come. This fear pushes people to accept less than they deserve and to call anxiety love. But Allah never places peace inside something that must be forced. Peace comes with what is written. When marriage is part of your rizq, doors open naturally. Conversations become easier. Families align without constant struggle. Respect is present without being demanded. You are not shrinking yourself to fit into someone's uncertainty. You are not waiting endlessly for basic commitment. Things may not be perfect, but they are clear. Understanding this changes how you behave. You stop chasing what runs away. You stop holding on to situations that drain your dignity. You stop believing that letting go means losing your future. What is written will not disappear because you stepped back. It will not be taken by someone else because you chose patience. What Allah has written does not need force to arrive, and it does not need fear to stay. When something is truly rizq, it reaches you, while your dignity remains intact, your heart stays calm, and your trust in Allah grows stronger instead of weaker. Delay is part of the decree, not a sign of rejection. Delay often hurts more than rejection because it leaves the heart questioning itself. When something is delayed, people begin to wonder if they are forgotten, unworthy, or doing something wrong. They look at their age, their circumstances, and the lives of others, and quietly assume that Allah has passed them by. But delay is not Allah turning away. Very often, it is Allah arranging things in a way that protects you from harm you cannot yet see. What Allah delays is not always what He denies. Many delays exist because receiving something too early would damage the heart rather than benefit it. A marriage that comes before emotional stability can turn into constant conflict. A marriage that comes before self-respect can turn into endurance instead of partnership. Allah delays not because He is distant, but because He is careful with what He gives. Delay also works on the heart in ways comfort never could. It teaches patience, but more importantly, it teaches trust. It removes unhealthy attachment and the need to control outcomes. Over time, the heart learns to stand on its own instead of leaning desperately on another person for security. When marriage finally comes after this growth, it is entered with strength, not fear. Many people only see the pain of waiting, not the protection inside it. They do not see the arguments they were saved from, the emotional damage they avoided, or the wrong connections that quietly ended before becoming permanent. Delay is often Allah closing doors early so that your life does not become complicated later. When you understand this, waiting becomes lighter. You stop treating delay as proof that something is wrong with you. You stop rushing into situations just to escape loneliness. You realize that Allah is not withholding love, but shaping you so that when love arrives, it does not break you. What comes after delay often arrives with clarity, not confusion, with stability, not chaos, with peace, not fear. Delay is not rejection. It is part of the plan that ensures what finally reaches you is able to stay without harming your heart. Rizq arrives with calm certainty, but not emotional urgency. When something is truly written for you, it does not throw your heart into constant panic. Many people believe that strong emotions, anxiety, and urgency are signs that something is meant to be. In reality, emotional pressure often comes from fear, not destiny. Fear of losing someone. Fear of missing a chance. Fear of ending up alone. But what Allah sends as rizq does not arrive by shaking your inner peace. Rizq carries a sense of calm even before it fully appears. This does not mean there is no nervousness or excitement, but there is stability underneath it. You are not waking up every day, afraid of being replaced. You are not constantly questioning where you stand. Your heart is not stuck in endless guessing. There is clarity, even if everything has not been decided yet. Emotional urgency pushes people to ignore warning signs and silence their intuition. It makes them rush decisions and overlook disrespect because they are afraid time is running out. But Allah does not send something good wrapped in confusion. What is written for you does not demand that you betray your peace to keep it. Calm certainty shows itself in simple ways. Conversations feel natural instead of forced. You feel respected without having to ask for it. The future is discussed without fear. You are not clinging tightly because you trust that what is meant to stay will not disappear overnight. When marriage approaches as risk, the heart becomes steadier, not more restless. You feel grounded instead of anxious. You stop obsessing over every word and action. This calm is not laziness or indifference. It is trust settling into the heart. Urgency belongs to what you fear losing. Peace belongs to what Allah intends to remain. When something pushes you into constant emotional chaos, it is often your attachment speaking, not your destiny. Rizq arrives quietly, with reassurance, allowing the heart to breathe instead of brace itself. No person and no circumstance can block what Allah decreed. Many people believe their marriage is being blocked by something or someone. They blame family resistance, financial limits, distance, age, culture, or timing. Over time, this belief turns into frustration and fear, as if their future is trapped in the hands of others. But the truth is simple and firm. No human being and no situation has the power to stop what Allah has written. If Allah has decided that something will reach you, it will find a path, even if every door looks closed at first. Allah is not limited by the obstacles that feel heavy to you. He can soften hearts, change circumstances, open opportunities, and create solutions in ways you never planned. What looks impossible from your view is easy for Him. At the same time, this truth also protects the heart from attachment to outcomes that are not written. If something does not happen, it is not because someone stole it from you or stood in your way. It is because Allah, in His wisdom, chose not to make it part of your life. This understanding removes bitterness and blame. It allows the heart to let go without feeling defeated. Comparison is one of the quiet pains people carry. Watching others marry sooner can make it feel like life is unfair or delayed. But no one's marriage comes at the cost of yours. Rizq is not divided by speed or luck. It is given according to what fits each life best. What reaches someone else was written for them, just as what reaches you will be written for you. When you trust that no person and no circumstance can block what Allah decreed, you stop living in fear. You stop seeing obstacles as final answers. You stop resenting people for choices they made. You move forward with patience, knowing that what is meant for you will arrive, and what does not arrive was never meant to stay. This belief does not make life passive. It makes the heart steady. You continue to do what is right, but you no longer carry the weight of trying to control destiny. You walk with effort and trust, confident that nothing written for you can be taken away, delayed, or denied by anyone other than Allah Himself. Allah commands preparation, not outcome control. Allah never asked you to control your future. He asked you to prepare yourself. This is where many hearts become exhausted. They try to manage outcomes, predict timelines, and secure results, believing that if they do not stay in control, everything will fall apart. But control was never your responsibility. It belongs to Allah alone. Preparation is different from control. Preparation is about strengthening your character, improving your conduct, and healing what needs healing inside you. It is about learning patience, setting boundaries, and growing in faith. Control, on the other hand, comes from fear. It is the constant need to make sure things go a certain way so that you feel safe. Allah calls you to effort without obsession, and trust without passivity. When people focus too much on outcomes, they often neglect their inner state. They become anxious, impatient, and emotionally reactive. But when you focus on preparation, your heart becomes steady. You begin to ask better questions, not about when marriage will happen, but about who you are becoming while you wait. You grow in ways that protect you once marriage arrives. Preparation also teaches you to walk away from what is unhealthy. When you are focused on controlling outcomes, you cling to situations that harm you because you fear starting over. But when you are focused on preparation, you understand that letting go is sometimes part of becoming ready. You do not see endings as failures, but as redirection. Allah prepares the heart before He changes the situation. He strengthens your patience before He grants companionship. He builds your self-respect before He gives you partnership. This is why some doors remain closed no matter how hard you push. They are not meant to be opened by force. They are meant to open after growth. When you stop trying to control what Allah has reserved for Himself and start preparing yourself for what He has promised, effort becomes lighter. You still strive, but without panic. You still hope, but without desperation. You trust that when the time comes, what arrives will match the version of you that Allah carefully shaped along the way. If it does not stay with honor, it was never Rizq. Not everything that enters your life is meant to remain in it. This is a hard truth, especially when emotions are involved. Many people believe that because someone appeared, simply because feelings developed, or because time was invested, it must have been written as Rizq. But in Islam, Rizq is not just about arrival. It is about what stays without destroying you. When something is truly written for you, it does not require you to sacrifice your honor to keep it. You are not constantly tolerating disrespect, uncertainty, or emotional harm just to remain connected. You are not shrinking your values, ignoring red flags, or accepting pain as the price of love. Rizq does not grow by breaking you down. Some relationships come only to teach. They reveal where you lacked boundaries, where you attached too quickly, or where you confused attention with care. These connections can feel intense, but intensity is not the same as permanence. Allah allows some people to pass through your life so you can learn what does not suit your heart before what truly belongs to you arrives. Honor is a clear sign. When something stays with honor, you are treated with respect even during difficulty. There is honesty, accountability, and effort from both sides. You do not live in constant fear of abandonment or replacement. Even disagreements do not strip away your dignity. If a connection requires silence about your needs, patience with repeated hurt, or constant emotional endurance just to exist, its presence does not mean it was written to last. Sometimes Allah removes what is not Rizq before it becomes deeply rooted, even though the removal hurts. Understanding this frees the heart from clinging. You stop measuring the value of something by how painful it was to lose. You begin measuring it by whether it protected your honor while it was there. What is truly Rizq does not leave you smaller, weaker, or ashamed. It leaves you steadier, respected, and closer to Allah, whether it stays forever or ends when its lesson is complete. What Allah provides never strips your dignity. Allah is Al-Karim, the most generous, and His generosity is never mixed with humiliation. When Allah provides something, He does not take your dignity in exchange for it. This is an important truth many hearts overlook. People often believe that love requires sacrifice at any cost, even if that cost is self-respect. But what Allah gives is never built on your humiliation. When something is truly from Allah, you do not have to beg to be valued. You do not have to repeatedly explain your worth, chase basic respect, or tolerate behavior that makes you feel small. Dignity is not a reward you earn later. It is a condition that exists from the beginning. Allah does not place barakah in situations where your honor is slowly taken away. Many people confuse patience with endurance of disrespect. True patience does not mean staying silent while your dignity is harmed. Patience means trusting Allah enough to walk away from what degrades you, even when it hurts. Allah never asks you to remain where you are consistently dishonored only just to prove faith or loyalty. What Allah provides comes with clarity. You are not kept in constant uncertainty. You are not treated as an option while being asked to give full commitment. You are not made to feel easily replaceable. There is seriousness, intention, and care, even when challenges exist. This does not mean everything will be perfect. Difficulty is part of life. But difficulty does not equal humiliation. Disagreements can exist without disrespect. Delays can exist without being dismissed. Allah's provision preserves your sense of worth while you wait and while you receive. When you understand this, your standards change. You stop calling pain destiny. You stop justifying emotional harm as part of love. You begin to trust that what Allah has written for you will meet you with honor, not embarrassment, and with respect, not constant emotional loss. Allah's gifts never come at the cost of your dignity. Waiting becomes worship when you trust the decree. Waiting feels heavy when the heart believes it is doing nothing. Many people see waiting as wasted time, as if life is on pause until marriage arrives. This thought creates frustration, sadness, and impatience. But in Islam, waiting is not empty when it is filled with trust. When you truly believe that Allah is in control, waiting changes its meaning. When you trust the decree, waiting becomes an act of worship. Every moment you choose patience over panic, you are obeying Allah. Every time you resist settling for what harms you, you are honoring His wisdom. Every time you remind yourself that Allah's timing is better than your own, your heart is drawing closer to Him. Waiting is no longer passive. It becomes purposeful. Trusting the decree does not mean the desire disappears. You may still want companionship deeply. You may still feel moments of loneliness, but you stop letting those feelings push you into choices that compromise your values. You learn how to hold desire without letting it control you. This balance strengthens the heart. Waiting also reshapes your relationship with Allah. Instead of only turning to Him for results, you begin to rely on Him for peace. You stop measuring your faith by how quickly your prayers are answered, and start measuring it by how steady your heart remains. This shift brings a quiet strength that stays even after marriage arrives. Many people rush into relationships just to escape waiting, only to realize later that the wrong companionship creates deeper loneliness. Allah protects you through waiting by keeping you from choices that would cost you more than patience ever could. When waiting is rooted in trust, it becomes meaningful. It becomes growth. It becomes preparation. You are not simply counting days. You are building resilience and self-respect and faith. In this way, waiting is no longer a burden. It becomes a form of worship that Allah sees, values, and rewards, even before the answer arrives. When Rizq arrives, the heart recognizes it before the mind. When what Allah has written finally arrives, it does not enter your life as confusion. It enters with a quiet sense of recognition. This does not mean everything suddenly feels perfect or that all fear disappears, but something deep inside settles. The heart feels grounded instead of restless, steady instead of scattered. Even before the mind understands what is happening, the heart feels that this is different. The mind often looks for guarantees. It wants certainty, plans, and proof. The heart, however, responds to alignment. When risk arrives, you do not feel like you are forcing yourself to accept it. You are not constantly questioning whether you should stay or leave. There is a sense of balance, even in uncertainty. You feel supported rather than drained. This recognition shows itself in simple ways. You are able to speak honestly without fear. You feel safe expressing needs and concerns. You are not walking on eggshells or constantly adjusting yourself to avoid losing the connection. There is effort from both sides, not just endurance from one. Many people mistake intensity for destiny. Strong emotions can make something feel important, but importance is not the same as stability. What is written for you may feel quieter than what you imagined, but it will feel stronger. It does not need constant reassurance to survive. It does not rely on fear to stay alive. When risk arrives, it fits into the life Allah prepared you for. It does not pull you away from your values or distance you from your faith. Instead, it supports your growth and encourages your peace. You become more yourself, not less. Looking back, you realize why certain things did not work out. You see how the waiting shaped you, how the endings protected you, and how the timing made sense only in hindsight. What Allah sends at the right time does not leave the heart doubting its worth. It allows the heart to rest, knowing that what arrived did so with purpose, care, and divine wisdom. In the end, peace comes when the heart stops fighting what Allah already knows. Marriage was never meant to be a race, a test of worth, or a reward for suffering. It is part of Rizq, and Rizq reaches you by Allah's wisdom, not by your fear. What is written will come, and it will come in a way that preserves your dignity, strengthens your faith, and fits the person you have become. Until that moment arrives, your life is not incomplete. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. Every season before marriage is shaping you, protecting you, and preparing you. Trust does not remove the desire, but it removes the panic. And when the heart finally learns to trust, it realizes that Allah was never late. He was always precise.